For watching Fugitive Red Eye, and welcome to another anime review. Today I will be talking about the anime Gantz, and as well as its manga. So let's start with the plot. Gantz is a story about two guys that end up getting hit by a train and killed. They wake up in a room with lots of other dead people, and they end up finding out that they're part of some battle against aliens. They end up resurrected by this little black ball named Gantz, and Gantz commissions them to go out and kill various different types of aliens. There's a point system involved in it, which they don't explain too much in the anime, but if you read the manga, there are different choices you get once you reach 100 points. I'll go over what those choices are now. There are spoilers ahead, of course, but I'll try to keep it as mild as possible. In the manga, Gantz reveals that if you reach 100 points, you have three choices. You can bring someone back from the dead who's been killed in one of their missions to fight the aliens. You can free yourself from Gantz and become a normal person again, but lose all memory of it. Or you can get a super powerful weapon. Each of these are shown or played out in one way or another. The anime is only 26 episodes long and doesn't do the manga justice. The manga itself, I believe, is like 398 chapters. It's quite long. Although I will admit there are quite a few parts of the manga that do drag and parts of it that are kind of dumb. For instance, in the manga version, Kei has a brother who actually is a vampire with some sort of weird shit like that, and then it's never mentioned again after a few chapters. And I do feel the ending to the manga is definitely better than the anime ending, although it is still slightly anticlimactic. Now I'm going to have some more major spoilers up ahead, so just be forewarned. I'm going to talk about the ending to the anime versus the ending of the manga. Around the third mission that they do for Gantz, the entire crew gets wiped out except for Kei himself. This is where the anime diverges greatly from the manga. In the manga version, Kei continues on doing missions for Gantz until he gets powerful enough and brings back Nishi, and a few other things happen. He also ends up bringing back Kato, but never Kishimoto for whatever reason. Maybe it's partially because there was still an alive version of her existing, but regardless. The manga version goes on for quite a bit longer, and they go on several other missions, meet up with other groups of Gantz, and find out some more stuff about the origin of Gantz and what's going on between a war between humans and aliens. Whereas in the anime, as soon as Kei is the only survivor, then Gantz turns on him and tries to have everyone kill him. With a new group of people who Gantz summons that are not even in the manga, I might add. Interestingly enough, even though Gantz is kind of depicted as sort of a villain for the earlier parts of the manga because you're not sure who's on what side, in the end of the manga, Gantz actually turns out to be the good guy and there's this alien invasion going on, whereas in the anime, Gantz is actually depicted as the bad guy and tries to kill Kei at the end. And then at the end, Kei, kills Gantz or something, and then I think Kei might die as well. They're not very clear on that in the anime ending, they leave it kind of open for interpretation. Whereas in the manga ending, they destroy the mothership of the aliens, and that's where it ends. Also, I'm going to add that Kei had a couple other love interests that are not mentioned at all in the anime, but are definitely present in the manga. First off, there's obviously Kishimoto, who then goes over to Kato and stays with him, at least for the time she's alive in the anime and manga. Then there's that unnamed chick that he fucks on the first day they meet. Then there's this girl in the manga only named Tai, who's never mentioned in the anime, but she's very prevalent in the manga. I don't think when they made the anime she existed yet, because Gantz ran for quite a long time, and the anime series came out around 2003 to 2004, something like that. So I do think the manga version is considerably better, although I do think the pacing is a little bit better done in the anime, because the manga does drag quite a bit. For instance, there's entire volumes, and I don't just mean chapters, I mean whole volumes, like books, where Kei is not even in them at all. Now, I think that's quite a bit enough about the plot of Gantz. Let's talk about the series a little bit more as to what it's like. So first off, this is definitely not a series for kids. There's tons of nudity, tons of gore, and tons of stuff like that. I do think it's a fun action series and has a lot of action and sci-fi elements to it, which make it pretty enjoyable. I wouldn't say it's my absolute favorite series, in fact it's probably not even in my top 20. But it's definitely an enjoyable anime series, and it comes from what I feel is the best era of anime, the 2000s, meaning the previous decade from 2000 to 2009. I do feel like pretty much any anime I've seen from that time has at least been decent, and this is one of the good ones. Like I said, it's not one of the best ones because that was a great time. It's definitely a series I recommend checking out, and if you haven't seen it, I do recommend you at least watch the anime and then read the manga if you feel dissatisfied with the ending. But do be prepared that if you read the manga, it does drag quite a lot. So that's all I really have to say about Gantz. There were a few live-action movies, but I haven't seen them yet, but I do intend to. Anyway, this has been Fugitive Red Eye, and you have a great day.
Subscribe to Fugitive Red Eye.